Keeps It the Cash. Gary B, the casual comic guy here, and joining me, just like most times, we have my good buddy Digger Jim in the co-hosting seat. Jim, how you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing okay. I'm excited to see what John has to say.
Yeah, well, John's been on twice before, and he's had some great autograph stuff. But
Nice.
tonight is going to be about history. We're going to introduce the man himself. We have John here, and John, welcome back to the 1011 and the channel again. Do the quick introduction of who you are and what it is you're trying to launch before we say hi to the audience here.
So, the fact is, I'm kind of advertising, pushing the my second channel, Zach, the history dog.
Okay.
So it started off as a joke between me and Zach's collection, and we both love our history, but neither one of us wanted to actually go down a path of a history channel. So I just said, let's make a joke out of it, make it cartoonish. And I made kind of stories of this dog that went back in time to deal with history. But then I decided to make it to actual history. And when I did that, people are starting to sub to it. So it's all fun.
Right, and doing what you want, right? Bringing the interest of history to the people that are watching.
Exactly. My main thing about history is the old saying: if you don't learn from your past, you're bound to repeat the history, right? Same mistake. But people also forget that if you don't learn from your past successes, you're bound not to have the same successes. So it goes both ways. And I just want, I have always had a passion for history, but even beyond that, I want people to have a passion to learn things. History, there's so much history.
Right.
You can pick a category and have years of history to look up. So,
yeah, I when I look at the local paper here, that's one of the things that I like in it is it has a whole thing breakdown of history in this area. Because I'm not originally from here, so it'll say like, in 1920, so-and-so opened up such and such on this street, and even has a national column right beside it. So it'll say like, on this day, this happened, in 1899, Admiral C. Perry went to, Emperor Hirohito's place or something, like that.
On this day, Digger Jim moved here, and it's been downhill ever since.
Right, exactly.
We're in a slide, people.
He digs too many holes in the damn place. Yeah.
All right, let's say hi to a few people that joined us so far. We have one of my all-time favorite people in there first, Jerry the Jitterbug. Good evening, Jerry. Great to see you, buddy. We have Brad Wellbore. How you doing tonight, Brad? Great to see you, bud. Hope they're not working you too hard over there. All right, we have Steve the Turtle. Good afternoon, Steve. Great to see you. Thank you for joining us tonight. We have Mr. Mark Andrews, who knows a thing or two about history himself. Great to see you as always, Mark. We got Jim saying hi to everybody. We have Mr. Chuck Hensey, who teaches something, so he might know something. Don't know. No, just kidding. And oh goodness, so everyone's saying hi to each other and talking. So as people are joining us, I'll give them a quick tip of the hat. But John, let's just get it started, man. What you got with what you have to start us out with?
Well, I'm going to actually start off. This came from an idea from a TikTok creator. And he is convinced that Canadian government have figured out the super soldier serum. And there are quite a few people that have done crazy things in Canadian history of military. One that comes off the top of my head is Tommy Prince.
Okay, Tommy Brinks.
Yes. He another one would be Billy Bishop. All these guys are just so dedicated. Have so many medals. Both of these gentlemen have fought in either the First World War, Second World War, or both. And both of them have defeated German armies by themselves. So, for instance, Tommy Prince went into a town in France, and he was with another person. He got eliminated, but Prince was able to not only rescue the prisoners of war, liberate the town. I just can't think of the town's name off the top of my head. Fight off over 10,000 German soldiers, but came home basically on one leg.
Wow.
Right on.
Yeah. 99.
Victoria Cross is awarded the Canadians so far.
So, but I have always kind of stuck to the obviously Canadian history and Scandinavian history are my two things that I specialize in. With my family being from Iceland, Scandinavian history is very dear to me as well.
Right.
So, like, Eric the Boneless, he was one of the first people to actually rule Greenland. And you have Eric the Red, who was the one who first went to Greenland, who named Greenland. And he actually had the foresight to name it Greenland, so people from Europe would move there and settle there, even though it's completely ice and nobody could actually live there. So,
now, what's the book you're looking at, John?
the book is actually just my notes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I have so much history in my mind that, like, I'm pretty sure you guys are the same with comics, that you're thinking of one comic and then another one kind of blends in.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to keep, when I have my thought, that I have it correct.
Right.
So, if it's okay, there is one history thing that I find hilarious, and it's U.S. history, and it is called the mid-century onion hack.
I don't know.
So in the mid 50s, onions became the first banned futures in the USA for trades. So in 1955, Sam Siegel and Vincent Koska took advantage of an oversupply of onions that they bought. They actually bought tons of onions and onion futures. Eventually, the two men owned 98% of all Chicago onion and owning over 30 million pounds of onions.
Damn.
So they started selling futures, and they gained about 98% of all the business in Chicago, and they started short selling the onion futures. I should say, futures are when you have a stock and you sell it to someone because of what it may happen.
Right, what it could turn into.
Yeah. So Sam and Vince, this is usually a very risky thing to do, but they didn't have to guess or take any risk because they realized that they owned most of these stocks. So they ended up dropping the prices of all the onions to basically dirt cheap. And they also continued to get more onions. So this ended up, the increase of more onions dropped the prices, and the prices of their futures went down. So eventually, they ended up making, I just have the, well, they made millions in the 50s selling onion stocks. And
they shorted it, is what you said.
Yeah.
They shorted it because they knew they had the market cornered. And if they sold you a future at $20, they would short it, and knowing that it was going to go down because they were going to flood the market with onions. That's what they said.
And then they sold all their stocks, made millions and millions.
Right.
The problem with that was a bag of onions went from a decent price down to 10 cents per bag, and that caused tons of farmers to go bankrupt. So it caused onion shortages around the U.S. So nobody could get onions unless you were in Chicago. And like I said, hundreds of onion farmers went bankrupt because of this. So the result is, after 70 years, the Community of Exchange Authority banned all the trade of onion futures, and it's still, to this day, after 70 years, the only banned futures in the USA.
Huh.
Because of Sam and Vincent.
Yeah, the great onion scam in 1950, huh?
So just imagine millions of dollars in 1950s. Just imagine how much money that would be now.
Yeah. And you know, those guys didn't care what happened after. They had their bank.
Right.
Oh, exactly. I mean, Vince and Sam were so into this scheme that when onions would start spoil, they would actually clean the onions off, repackage it, and sell it. So it looks like there's even more onions
Right.
out there.
They just peel it back some.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got a smaller onion.
So,
Oh, pretty cool.
yeah.
I never heard of the Great Onion Scam.
Nobody has. That's the whole thing. Nobody has. And this is something that I bring up more for the card community. That's why I more looked it up. Because look at what Fantastic's doing and look at what Upper Deck's doing. They're going on the trend of monopolies for sports.
Right.
No other company can go into the NHL trade-in cards. Nobody else can do baseball. Nobody else can do football. Nobody else can do basketball. They're not allowed to.
Right, that's crazy.
So that's the whole thing of learn your history or you'll repeat it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, you know, if I remember correctly, it's kind of the way, you know, Trading Places is the bit, you know, Eddie Murphy movie. They gambled the orange juice market, if I remember correctly. And they had the inside information, so they were able to, you know, make a ton because they had the report before everybody else did. It's just another scam, another way Wall Street scams and makes money.
Well, the ironic thing is that before Sam and Vincent, there wasn't an onion market.
Yeah. They created something also.
They created it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Well, good on them, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My question would be this, and I don't know anything huge about cards per se.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have some cards. I remember having cards as a kid. I'm not a card person.
And they got little pictures on them.
But, you know, but isn't the margin to the point where who would be their competitor? Who would be a Tops or an Upper Deck competitor? Who would want to do that because the margin is so thin? It's just like, you know, at what point does it say, well, we don't want these people in here because this is the most money we're going to be able to make. If I bring in 2 more competitors, I'm going to make less money now because now I'm going to have to sell my card for this much just to compete with them.
Well, the ironic thing is, I can't really speak for many other sports with the history of it, but I know for hockey, it was actually Opie Chi that ran the show.
Okay.
And then in 2004, the NHLPA went on strike, shutting down all manufacturers of hockey cards. But McDonald's said, you know what? We still want hockey cards. So they got Upper Deck to make them hockey cards, licensed hockey cards, and the NHLPA sued them. Made Upper Deck basically go bankrupt. And McDonald's went in and said, oops, my bad, and paid it. And from that moment, Upper Deck had enough money to say, we're buying OBG, we're buying this company, we're buying that company. And Gary Bettman said, you have the power, we're going to give you the only licensing.
Gotcha.
People in the, like, collectors like myself and other collectors, and I can say this for all sports because it's now, miss the 90s for the different kinds of sets.
right? The variety of cards.
Yeah, the variety. Yes, you can get OPG, but it's ran by Upper Deck. You can get Flair Metal, but it's ran by Upper Deck.
Right.
The problem with having Upper Deck run it all, quality control. They have no competition. They don't need to bring out good quality cards.
Right.
People will keep on buying it. Where in the 90s, yes, junk racks era, they made way too much. The difference is they had to actually pay attention and make quality cards that look good. Because if they didn't, people would turn to Score, people would turn to OPG, Upper Deck, Pro Set.
Yeah.
Right.
Where
Well,
now
it was like that in video games too, where EA Sports, and then you had 2K Sports, and then all of a sudden, and then 2K Sports ended up being better than the EA games, and then EA went and got the license for everything, and 2K couldn't do it anymore.
Right. Right.
Yep.
And I miss
there's nothing good with any time
hockey. Yeah, because the 2K hockey ended up being better than the EA hockey.
Yeah. But then you also go to movies. We were talking about like Disney. What doesn't Disney own? Right?
Right.
So, I mean, I'm kind of happy they own Marvel. But because now we have X-Men that can be done properly.
Right.
But,
well, and to be honest too, like their Alien and Predator stuff has been some of the best Alien and Predator we've had in years. As much as people may want to crap on them, the Alien and Predator franchises have been more adult and better in the last couple of years. Better storytelling, better, better directors and scripts.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, next thing we talk about.
I actually everybody COVID-19 obviously. Everybody compared it to the Spanish flu.
Yeah, the influenza. Yeah.
Yeah. The fact is, it's more related to a different one that happened more recently than 1919. And that was 1957. There was a deadly respiratory virus from East Asia called H2N2.
Oh yeah, I remember that now.
It was found like Maurice Hellman, a microbiologist, predicted North America couldn't handle it. The government ignored Hellman's warnings, and over 20 million people got affected. Over 116,000 people died. And if it wasn't for Hellman's fast and hard work on finding a cure, millions was expected to die from this. H2N2. So people forget about that one.
Right, yeah, I did. I mean, I'd only learned about it for a brief period, and then, you remember the big ones like the Spanish influenza, the bubonic plague from way back,
right?
Like the 1300s, but I mean, those ones were taught to you over and over again in school back in the day.
Right.
Yeah. Not a lot of people want to talk about deadly diseases. Let's face it. So I can see why it happens, but the reason why I think this one in particular is important is because, unlike the Spanish flu, doctors didn't really know anything about preventing diseases, but the government had the resources to prevent all these people passing away, all these people getting infected and causing lifelong, and they ignored it. I hate to bring it up, but how many people didn't wear masks during COVID and kind of waved COVID off,
Oh yeah, tons.
right? Like, I'm not going to say my political standpoint. It's just a fact that people ignored it. Had COVID parties and stuff like that. That's just another example of learning your history, or it will repeat itself.
Yep.
And I mean, I've been preaching something that I don't even know if there is a technical word for it, but I call it the snowballing effect. Back in, I want to say, I was in grade 10, so it was in 1995. I predicted this. Looking through our history, I noticed that everybody was buying everything, no matter what. Didn't matter. We had mall rats. Everybody was buying everything. Everything was dirt cheap. And I was like, this doesn't feel right. Something's going to happen. And then people got greedy, raised prices little by little by little. Taxes got raised. And I said, you can't make money if you raise the prices. So then obviously things started getting digitalized. You have things like eBay, Amazon. For the shortcoming, eBay, great. I will not shop on eBay. The reason is, in the past 20 years, not even 20 years, 15 years, I've seen at least 4 LCSs go out of business because of eBay. Lots of people will turn around and say, well, those sellers can, go on eBay. That's nice, except for what happens with their employees.
Yeah, well, I think too, a lot of it's like at least from what I've seen from ones that have gone out of business here compared to ones that have survived, is they don't want to innovate, right? Like my LCS changes with the times. When trends change, he changes his store up. Other people are too set in their ways. They don't want to change his store up. No, this is how he ran it in 1970. It's how I'm going to run it now, and it doesn't translate over to the modern world. And unless you change with the times, you are going to sink.
Right.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't. This is how I started. This is how it's going to stay.
Yeah.
Now there's a comic shop where I used to live 30 years ago in Plattsburgh, New York. It's still there. That's a small ass market. They're still in business because they change when the times change. They watch their trends. They know what they need to do. They know how they got to change the business. And the ones that have gone out here don't want to change the business. I know what I know what I'm doing. I've done this for 20 years. Okay, but you got to do this. Nope. Okay, and then they're out of business in the next year.
Yeah.
So a lot of it's not being willing to accept change and change your business with the times.
I mean, you do have to use things in these days. Don't get me wrong on that. But the way I see it more is, unless you can handle an eBay store and a physical store, you're going to be having less income for the because
I think that's individual basis though, depending on how people run their business.
I mean, look, a lot of them are using Whatnot now.
Yeah,
it's not eBay. They just go on Whatnot and sell directly to
eBay, Whatnot.
But as far as you're talking like human traffic in a store, the LCS I use, they'll have like an hour or two where it's quiet, but then they'll be just busy wall to wall for hours, and it's been like that for 10 years.
Nice.
And he's changed the
Right.
store like 4 or 5 different times in those 10 years to the times. Traffic's always been there.
Well,
Even during
I should have said
during
this at the beginning, that I can't
even during the
speak for
pandemic.
everywhere. I can only speak with what I see.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So locally, I know, and when you go into automated like Walmart with the automatic cashiers, like cashing out yourself, right? There's less employees, but yeah. Anyway, that was just kind of a
Well, good debatable topic though. Something fun.
yeah. No,
What you thinking?
I'm just saying I can see because all we need, all I'm warning is that we are about a push away from what happened after World War II. In World War One, in my opinion, with the prices, because when I was growing up, we were okay with one income families. Now you need 3 incomes. We can barely, like, people, like, not us, but pretty much everyone in this area having a hard time paying rent and paying groceries and all that kind of stuff. And it's a snowball effect.
Yeah.
Right? Everything's getting more expensive. You can buy less, which means,
Well, definitely at the supermarket.
yeah,
2 bags of groceries are like $60.
Yeah.
yeah. I remember back in high school, I could take $5 to school, get a pack of smokes, go to the local chef's shop, and get a bacon grilled cheese sandwich and fries, and have change left over.
Bacon grilled cheese sounds good.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, yeah. Bacon grilled cheese is amazing.
Right. All right. Next one, John.
Next one. We have 1862, the Angel Glow.
Ooh, angel glow. Okay.
After the Battle of, and I'm going to pronounce this town name wrong, Silo, during
Shiloh?
the Civil War. What's that?
Shiloh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where over 20,000 died, with thousands more being injured. Some of their injuries started to glow. Soon after, they noticed that they were healing faster, they were having less infections, and they named it the Angel Glow because they were healing better.
Right.
Right? So, fast forward to 2001, high schooler Bill Martin decided to go to this town and learn more about this angel glow, because nobody's really paid any attention from that time to 2001. Martin, with the help of a microbiologist, studied the battlefield and found out there was a breeding ground to bacteria called Photo habis luminis, which is a glowing fungus.
Yep.
Normally not able to live on humans, but because the humans were damp, cold, and suffered from hypothermia, it thrived. And that's why they were healing. And now, because Bill Martin decided to go back, they're actually studying this Photo habis luminis to see if it has other curing capabilities.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if it could work on soldiers' injuries back in 1862 by accident, what would happen if they actually tried to do something with it? What
Right.
can they
It'd
come
be
up
a new
with?
super healer.
So, yeah. So I know this is a more of a comic book, a comic book channel. So I'm actually going to name a handful of comic book characters that are from Canada. So obviously you have Wolverine, Deadpool.
What?
Yeah. Captain Canuck.
My favorite,
All of Alpha Flight.
you have Aurora,
Hmm.
North Star, Snowbird, Puck. The website that I had didn't actually name that many of them. But I know for a fact that there's quite a few.
Yeah.
You got.
Right.
I still say that even though he's an American hero, Superman is Canadian.
He's not even American.
Right.
He's an illegal alien.
I know, but you know what? He lived in Canada. He must have lived in Canada a little bit too long. He was co-created by a Canadian. That's why I say it. That's the only reason why I say it.
You're saying he's got the Canadian sensibilities about him.
Exactly. No, I don't know. The only thing I kind of admire about Superman is they predates DC and Marvel. So there's got to be something there, right?
You know who predates Superman, right?
Captain America?
Conan the Barbarian.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm actually looking for some Conan the Barbarian artists, to be honest with you. But that's on another note.
Right.
Well, I found. Oh, why can't I remember his name now? Give me a second. On a side note, I just did a jank pack Thursday on him, and I was trying to find comic artists on to TTM.
Oh.
So, my actual favorite comic writer currently just happens to be Canadian. I'm not sure if you guys. I'll probably butcher the name, but Mariko Chinati. Mariko.
Yeah, Mariko.
Yeah. I'm just admiring the fact that she does DC and Marvel. I didn't think they did that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, a lot of them do. Oh, are you talking about Mariko Tamaki?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I'm not a big fan of Supergirl, but I love X-23.
Oh yeah. I mean, she's
One of my
done-
favorites.
Yeah, Laura Kinney's great. I like her better than the original Wolverine. I like her better than Logan.
The only problem that I find with Logan is that there's so many different backstories.
Well, yeah. because he's supposed to be like 1,000 years old. It seems like it's like
Right,
unbelievable.
yeah, he's got plenty of history to talk about.
Yeah. I'd like to see Laura Kinney get her own show. That would be kind of cool.
I'm sure she will eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the actress that plays her, Daphne Keane. She does a great job playing Laura Kinney. I'd like to see her get her own movie.
Oh, that would be amazing.
I don't know if she can carry the movie by
I
herself.
think she could.
You think?
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that they would dip her into like television or something.
I go for a series too. That means you get 6 to 9 episodes of
That's
it.
what I meant. Something like that.
I would definitely go for that
Yeah.
because then you can get renewed.
True.
It's not as big a financial risk.
Yeah, it's because it's all based on money. I mean, trust me.
Now, did you have any other history stuff you needed to talk about, John?
Yeah, I can give. This is a question for you guys. Do you guys know what the Hoover Dam was originally called?
I don't. Jim might. Yeah.
Wait, I just read that the other day. It was the not the Colorado.
I'm gonna Google it though.
No, it was.
I'm not gonna say it though because I'm cheating.
I don't remember the name.
It was called the Boulder Dam.
And that's why I say Colorado. Yeah. I was trying to put them together, Boulder, Colorado, and that. Yeah,
it was named after Hoover afterwards.
Right.
Something that I find interesting is the saying "off scot-free." It comes from medieval England, where peasants had to make a payment to their lords, the federal lords, called scotage. The poorest of the poor didn't have to make these payments, so they were called scot-free.
Ah,
So that's where we get the saying "off scot-free."
gotcha.
Nice.
So yeah.
Cool stuff.
Now, if I can just mention a kind of Mount Rushmore of people that you might want to write down and research to save some time. I could give you a full bio, but these are people that you definitely want to look up.
All right.
I'll give you a second, Jim, if you want.
Oh, he's ready. I'm ready. We got our pens.
We're
old. We come prepared, John. We're
Okay.
old school.
Yeah.
You're old school. I'm used to a different community. You have Joe Medican Crow. Joe Crow.
Okay.
Just a very quick thing. He is the last war chief in history. He was able to get his do the tests of touch a living enemy, steal an enemy's weapon, lead a war party, and take an enemy's horse in World War II. And then
feather and inkwell ready.
Then you have Leo Major. I've kind of mentioned before in this live, but he fought in World War II, and he is only one of 3 Canadians to be awarded the Distinguished Conduct Medal, and the only Canadian to be awarded a bar to add to his DCM in 2 different wars.
Nice.
Then you have Igorov Anason, which is the first person to settle in Iceland with his family. It's not the first person to be to Iceland or to set stuff up in Iceland. He's the first person to actually succeed in Iceland. And then, of course, you have Eric the Red.
Okay, I got his name. Ingolfur Arnason.
Yeah. And then, probably one of the most famous ones, Eric the Red. He has a history that you could write books on. Considered one of the most violent Vikings. Even Vikings said, "No, you're too violent. Bye-bye. You're executed. You're not allowed on this land." But the whole thing is that Vikings weren't actually that ruthless. It was just a war tactic.
What was his name again?
Eric the Red.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, because there's like quite a few, but their names are hard to say.
Yeah.
I think he's related to Conan, Gary. Pretty sure.
Yeah, he does look like Conan.
You know? Come on.
Conan would spank him and send him on his way.
Oh, probably. But people are saying that the Scandinavians are considered the first country or the first area to actually be I can't even speak, like to vote and
First democracy?
Yeah. They were the first ones in Europe to allow divorces, to allow women to own land. And yeah, so just a whole Scandinavian history.
Nice, that is
intriguing. Because everybody hears Scandinavian and they think Vikings with horns, right? But there's just so much, like the trading that they did. Either way. So yeah, all this talk, I didn't actually tell you how I came up with Zach the History Dog's name. There's an actual story behind that.
All right, so let's do that one.
So the history behind Zach the History Dog is I got inspired to even think about this from Jack Thursday,
right.
# Eat the Gum, because Zach started doing what happened that day in history at the beginning. And I'm like, we can do something with this. So, like I said at the beginning, it was started as a cartoonish idea. And I thought, well, it's dogs. So I flat out asked Zach, what kind of dog would you want to be if you were a dog? And he said the funniest one he could think of is a bulldog.
A bulldog.
Oh, no. Zach's French poodle all day. No, I'm just kidding.
French poodle.
The funny thing is, there is a French poodle, and it's my wife. Oh, no. So we started joking around saying, hey, what would happen if Zach did this in this period, this in this time period? And I'm like, yeah, I could do that. But people started to actually crazily believe that this happened in history. So I'm like, no,
Yeah,
can't do that anymore.
Yeah, so they weren't misinformed.
Yeah.
So I decided just to flat out go history to make people curious about history. I do not at all want people to use my channel as the end. My history dog is the beginning of your journey, not the end.
Got it.
Right. That's just there to pique your interest to learn more.
Yeah. I figured me and Zach both agree that you could call it any kind of name, right? But especially for kids, if you name it Zach the History Dog, it seems a little bit more inviting in my mind than naming it this fancy history channel
Right.
name.
No, it definitely works, and people like dogs.
Yeah. You can't go wrong with that.
So since I started doing the straight history, I went from 13 subscribers when I was doing it more of a joke to 40 subscribers in a month.
Nice.
So yeah,
Keep growing it from there, right?
yeah. So that is just something I do. It started as a side project. I didn't even want credit for it.
Right. Now it's a passion
Yes.
project.
But yeah, it's so
Nice. Well, good
but-
stuff, John.
yeah. All in all, I have to say for those people who watch Autograph Fisherman, that will continue to be my main focus. Though.
Yeah, your autograph collections are amazing.
I am at just under 1.3 thousand subscribers and need 600 more hours to be full partner with YouTube with that channel. I picked up a sponsor that sponsors everything on my channel.
Nice.
So that is my original and will stay my main focus.
Awesome.
Yeah, very cool.
But if this, like I'm going to say if this continues to grow like it is, and I'm hoping it does, I will have no problem dividing my time between them equally. Just at 40 subscribers, it's a little bit harder to get motivated to.
Right, but you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere, though.
Oh,
Right.
exactly.
I mean, I started with 5 subscribers. I didn't know who subscribed to somebody that didn't comment on anything or wasn't really on YouTube. So it was odd. All right, let's go around the horn, see what everybody's got coming up. We, of course, always start with my co-host, Jim. What is coming up for you, good sir?
Man, I think I'm going to start putting out, like I said, some more shorts, and I definitely need to do a shout out video, which I'm going to set up this weekend for not just comic book people, but some of the people that I watch that are smaller channels on the digger community, because I'm amazed that there's some out there that are churning it out, and they churn out some good video, and right. They just seem to have a smaller, they find the audience doesn't thing. Find them. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's YouTube's they're not titling it right or whatever, but we're gonna give them a shot and do a shout out. And then I had a whole, I thought I was gonna be able to do a video like last year where it was on the day after the 4th of July. I went out, nobody dropped anything. I mean, I was out there for 2.5 hours walking around that park, and I was amazed at how little I found. And I was just like, well, this is kind of a bust. So I didn't really publish anything, I just was like, like if it ain't there, it ain't there. So, but yeah, we'll get it. We'll out there digging. But in the meantime, I still want to put some books out. Yeah, I should probably. You know what? I'm gonna finish reading the Starfire series, and then you and I should do a talk about it one day.
Oh, we can. Let me know.
That would be kind of fun because you're the one that
You
turned
know
me
how much I
on to
love
it.
it. I'll read it again. I'll
Yeah,
read it again.
yeah,
I love
yeah,
that
yeah.
series.
We could go a review of it. So yeah, I don't really have a whole lot going on other than that. And you'll see me around in different live streams and put my 2 cents in on different things. So
nice. All right, John, what's coming up for you, and then we'll get to what's coming up for me.
So I'm going to stick to the history dog. I'm starting to do videos, 2 videos a week on different historical people. One's like 3 of them that are coming up is on Sir Charles Ross, David Suzuki, and Frederick Banton, the creator of insulin.
okay.
Oh, nice.
I am really hoping I can get to 100 subscribers. When I get to 100 subscribers, I have something up. I want to say up my sleeve. I don't have sleeves. I have something up my sleeve. I'm actually going to do a history live. Basically, I'm going to see who is willing to jump on, who knows the history, and we're going to do a flat history quiz. But
Nice.
that is like 60 subscribers away. So,
Right on.
All right, and coming up for me. So we don't have a show Thursday. Dom had to back out with some family stuff. He was upset about it. I said, Dom, life is life. Don't worry about it. We can always reschedule you.
Right on.
But so we'll reschedule Dom for his toy photography. But this Saturday we have a first-time guest on. We're doing a special Saturday show so she can make the 1011. And we have none other than Inja coming on this Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. It'll be her first 1011. And we are going to have Sheena on as the co-host. So we'll have Melanin and Manga on the show together. It'll be a fun show. So we're gonna have a blast.
Yeah.
So that's this Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. All right. And then my phone went dark. And then next week.
You got Who Dad?
What's that?
You got Who Dad on Thursday.
I do. I got Who Dat. He's doing Turtles. And we're going to have Adrian Pandawson being the co-host on that night. And then we have John Shrewsbury doing Thrift Shop 1011 next Tuesday.
Yeah, that ought to be cool.
So that'll be a fun one. So we will definitely have we got a fun week coming up with 3 great shows. And we have the Empire Comic Fest this weekend coming up, the 11th and 12th, so Friday and Saturday. Probably going to go there for a couple hours on Saturday and meet up with Brucifer Morningstar because him and I were talking. And he lives in Syracuse, so him and I might meet up and see each other for the first time, get to shake hands. So that'll be fun. But other than that, I want to say to all of you who watched, thank you for watching. We certainly appreciate it. Jim, thanks for co-hosting. John, thanks for coming on again. We appreciate it, sir. And everyone who joined us, of course, thank you so much for tuning in and supporting the channel. And until next time, keep it casual.